beautiful. What a beautiful way to start our morning. So I would invite you, it's our time for our spiritual mind treatment where we offer the truth about our being. So I invite you to just settle in where you are after that beautiful song, going within if you like, closing your eyes, as we recognize and remember, as we know that there is only one presence, one love, one light, one gentle, easy beingness. It is that creative intelligence, that field of pure potentiality just waiting to express itself in its next greater form. It is already expressed in infinite form and variety in this moment of now. Everything I see, everything I know, everything I touch, and more is that divine reflection of God. And so I know that that is what each and every one of us is right now. We are all that divine reflection of ease and grace, of love and joy, of that power that is just that creative mind waiting to express itself in its next greater incarnation. So I know that each and every one of us is already in that process of expanding, deepening, knowing the truth about our very being. Knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly in this moment of now. And so I know that this service, this celebration, is already unfolding beautifully. I know that the path is made clear. I know that there is no obstructions to the deepening, to the knowing that is happening now. I'm grateful for the message. I'm grateful for our musicians. I'm grateful for the board and our practitioners. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you joining us here this morning, making this community. And although we are not yet together in physical form, I know that we are deeply connected in spirit. And for this, I am truly mostly grateful. For it is in this coming together, it is in this community that I feel this love and this joy and this deep gratitude of abundance and perfect unfoldment. And so from this gratitude, this joy, I release this word into the law of mind, into that field of pure potentiality, knowing that this service, this time, this word is already manifest in the mind of God. And so we let it go and we let it be. And together we anchor this by saying, and so it is. Taking a moment to breathe that in as we reintroduce Merritt and Kristen for our inspirational song this morning.
Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know right now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing.
Good morning, and thank you, Kristen, for that. She is doing amazing things. Kristen, see, we've got the mic right into the plant there, so if the plant decides to say anything, we'll hear the plant today. So good morning. Thank you so much, Kristen, for that beautiful song. And the musicians make the job of the speakers so much easier because the energy is already lifted up. So all I have to do is step into that and ride that. So thank you. And thank you for Merritt for always bringing your amazing genius on the piano there. Thank you, Sharon, as our practitioner for the day. Thank you, Parisi, as our audiovisual person, making all this possible technically. And thank you to our board members as well. Yes. So good morning. And this is our Memorial Day weekend where we honor those who have given their lives in service in the military. And it's also kind of, many of us have often, we see Memorial Day as kind of like the unofficial beginning of summer, and as a day to have picnics and celebrate, but also, particularly this year, it's really just come into my heart what a sacrifice it is that these folks have made. They've given the ultimate sacrifice for their country, and no matter what we think about war or what we think about the particular wars that we have fought, it's still true that these service people have given the ultimate gift to the country. And so I honor them, and I honor their families as well, who have also made the ultimate sacrifice for their country to give up their loved ones. So let's just honor all of those people who today, Memorial Day tomorrow is that day where we honor those that have given their lives the ultimate gift to the country. So we honor all of those people and all of their families. God bless each one. So we're talking today about the path made clear. The path forward made clear, it could be called. The way made clear, stepping out of confusion, stepping out of any sense that we don't know how to move forward, any sense that we don't know what to do, or that we don't know what is ours to do. And so we're going to be talking a lot today about our divine guidance that is always coming forward. That divine guidance that is always, Spirit is always talking to us, because Spirit is us. And so at the center of our being is this infinite wisdom, this infinite intelligence that is always there and is always speaking to us, and it is us. It's not like it's something separate from us. And so that's what we're going to be looking at here today. That voice that is just always speaking. There was a professor in ministerial school who was in a Bible class, and he was saying, did God stop talking? It's like in the Bible, it's God talked to Moses and God talked to Abraham. And then sometimes religion divorces us from God, as if God did all this talking thousands of years ago or whatever, but then God stopped talking all of a sudden. And now all we're doing is reading what God said thousands of years ago to other people. But God's not talking to us anymore. God went silent all of a sudden. God's giving us the silent treatment. Well, of course that's not true. God is always speaking to us because we are one with God. We are one as God. This is what we teach in the Science of Mind philosophy, that God is at our center and God is us. We are divine expressions of that one. And so that infinite intelligence, that infinite wisdom are always available to us. When I was in graduate school, and there was one student every year would get chosen to do study abroad and go, study at another school in England. And I wanted to be that student, but I didn't get chosen. And the spirit in me, the infinite intelligence and wisdom in me just said, you still can do that. And I was really clear that I was still to do this, and it was just amazing in listening in how the way was made known and the way was made clear. The path was made clear as to how to do this. And so I ended up creating, which was totally unheard of, by the way, I ended up creating my own study abroad program. Other students were highly jealous of me, and I just had to, I was kind of okay with that. I kind of was like smiling. It was like, okay, well, you too could create your own program. So this infinite intelligence and wisdom at our center is always guiding us. Of course, we have to also listen in for what is ours to do. What is mine to do? Listen in for our heart to speak about what it is that is wanting to happen through us. What it is that is wanting to be made expressed through us, which is essentially the voice of our heart. So often, we don't know, it's not that we don't know, we haven't tapped into ourselves to get clear on what do I want in this situation. There's the famous story in Alice Wonderland where Alice comes to a fork in the road. And at that fork in the road, she says to the person there, which way should I go? And the person says, well, where are you trying to get to? And she said, I don't know. And the person said, well, then it doesn't matter which way you go, right? So often, with this very basic question, we forget to ask ourselves, what do I want? Sometimes we're so caught up in what we don't want, right? The problems and the situations and the scenarios and what's happening, and we're trying to resist that and get ourselves, But what do you want? What do you want? In any situation in your life right now, and whatever's going on in your life right now, okay, that's going on, but what do you want? And once we get clear on what we want, the path starts to be made clear as to how to get there, how to move forward with that. So this voice is always speaking to us, and I laugh at myself in the past, not so much anymore, but in the past, the voice would speak very clearly. It's like, what am I to do? Or what's my next step? And the next step would come very clearly. But then I would say, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. Give me something else, And sometimes the voice would even give me something else. And I'll say, no, really that? No. So we have to listen in, and then we also, this word obedient is not a popular word in our culture these days, to be obedient, but it's not such a bad word, because what we're being obedient to is our highest self, our highest nature. And acting from that highest place, that deepest place of centeredness, that deepest place of knowing. And so from that place, we become obedient. We listen in, we get our marching orders, so to speak, and we say yes, because it is only answering what we have already said we want. We have said we want this in our life. Now we have to cooperate with Spirit. We have to cooperate with that infinite power and intelligence to bring it forward. Ernest Holmes said, as you listen to the divine wisdom within you, you will receive your inspiration and guidance. As you speak your word, think your thoughts, or make your affirmations with complete conviction, you will discover that you are using a power that actually is and that actually does respond to you. The Spirit within you is God, the infinite source of your intelligence and wisdom and creative power. That was in his book, The Power of Idea. So are we listening this morning? Are we listening to what that voice is saying to us? I'm always reminded of a woman when I was the senior minister in Davis, California for the Center for Spiritual Living, and a woman would always be taking copious notes while I was speaking. And one day she approached me and she said, I'm not really writing down what you say, which is a great ego boost, right? For me, right? But I really had fun with it because she said, I'm not writing down what you say. I'm writing down what the Spirit of God in me says while you're saying what you say. And so I was just the catalyst, if you will, for her to go within and listen to the Spirit of God in her. And that's really what my job is as a minister, what my job is as a speaker, not to tell anyone what they ought to do, but to point them within, to point you within to that place in you of your own knowing, and to remind you, you know. You don't have to be in confusion. You don't have to be in that, I don't know what to do. I'm confused, I don't know what to do. God is never confused, and therefore you are never confused. Because how could we be confused if infinite intelligence and infinite wisdom are at our center? It will be impossible to ever be confused. We might be at a place of it's still all unfolding in our awareness. That's possible. But we could never truly be confused or never truly be in the space of I don't know. I'm reminded as I say that of the mystery of life. And that's a little bit of a different thing. That there's this mystery of life where things are unfolding, and there where we decide not to be in that space of closing things down is a different thing. So it's not saying that we should never be in the mystery. It's saying we don't ever have to be in confusion. There's that infinite knowing at the center of our being. And so let's talk for a moment about bringing attention to something, bringing our awareness, which I call the light of our awareness, bringing the light of our awareness to bear on something. Such a powerful experience, and so often we don't realize that. We don't remember that. We're sitting there and we're like, I'm confused, I don't know what to do. I'm confused, I don't know what to do. There's this, there's that. And the reminder this morning is to remember that infinite wisdom and infinite intelligence are at your center, at the center of your being. So when we remember that, now all we need to do now is sit down, get still, and bring our attention to what we want. Bring our attention to the question. Bring our attention to the problem. But bring not our fear, not our judgments, not our place of pain, but bring our centered consciousness to it. Bring our centered awareness to it. And so we sit down and we get centered and we bring our attention to it. We bring our awareness to it. In my experience, it's quite magical, the way the answers start to reveal themselves by giving attention, by bringing centered awareness to what heretofore appeared to be a problem, what heretofore appeared to be a question that we didn't know the answer to. Questions are so beautiful because inherent in the question and embedded in the question is also the answer. Because when we live in a knowing that infinite intelligence and infinite wisdom reside at my center, a question is merely an opening to that infinite wisdom and infinite intelligence at my center. So it's beautiful to have questions. I love when I'm creating talks. Because when I'm creating talks, it always begins with a question. It always begins with, wouldn't it be interesting to reveal more about this subject? Wouldn't it be interesting to reveal more in my being about this topic, this situation? and then becomes the power of centered awareness and bringing centered awareness to a situation. So we breathe in, we take a deep breath, we sit in the stillness, we might close our eyes, we might place our hand on our heart, and we listen in. We let go of all the confusion. We let go of all that frenetic energy, the fear, the doubt. And we get still and we listen in. We put our hand on our heart. We take a deep breath or a few deep breaths. And with that centered awareness, we say, now, what does this look like? What am I to know about this? What am I to see right now? And we just wait. We just listen. We get still. And with practice, what I have found with practice is this becomes much more immediate. It becomes much more immediate. It's like I can be in the most frenetic state, or my mind can be in the most frenetic state, which is not the same as I am in the most frenetic state. I am that which is watching the mind, observing the mind. So my mind can be in the most frenetic state, and then sitting down in the silence and listening in, all of this clarity pours forth. Problems dissolve. It either gets revealed that they never were a problem, or the solution gets revealed. Questions suddenly start to reveal all kinds of answers and information, knowledge, wisdom. Oftentimes, what comes to me in the stillness is half of the things that I thought I needed to do, I don't even need to do. Because it becomes so clear where my fears got attached and where my frenetic energy got attached to things. And then the path becomes really clear. No, all you need to do is walk that way. All you need to do is take these few steps. Or all you need to do is stop all that confusion going on in the mind. Stop all that fear going on in the mind. So we surrender. This is a surrendered process. We surrender and we check in to see what wants to happen through us. What's alive in you? What has a lot of energy in you? And I'm not talking about the frenetic energy. I'm talking about that very expansive energy, that energy that lights you up. Like if we're counseling someone, right, and we're asking them and we're talking to them, and they say, well, what I should do is this. What I really like to do is this. And their energy, when they say what I really like to do, their energy expands, right, Sharon? Their energy expands. And then they say, but I should do this. And then they contract and get real small. And then we pay attention to that and we mirror that back to that person to say, every time you talk about this, because sometimes they don't phrase it exactly the way I just did, but it's like, every time you talk about this, you light up. And every time you talk about taking this other path, you fold and you contract. So what's alive for you is a really good way for that clarity to come forth. If you're not used to using this method of sitting down in the stillness and bringing your centered awareness and your centered attention to something, one of the things to pay attention to as you sit in the stillness or even as you move about, what's alive in you? What really feels expansive to you? Because that is your guidance right there as the direction for you to take. It may be the more scary direction, which is why sometimes we're like, well, I should do this because that feels safer. But that's not the divine guidance. The divine guidance isn't guiding you into staying in your fear, staying in your sense of limitation and lack. The divine guidance is guiding you, stand fully in the power and presence that you are as a divine expression of God. That's what Spirit is guiding you to do. Often our confusion is not confusion at all. It's more like part of me wants to stay in that smallness. Part of me wants to stay in the fear. Part of me wants to stay in the problem, so I don't have to be large. I don't have to be fully expressed. I don't have to be the fullness of divinity that I am. I would rather be small. That's often the confusion. There's really no confusion at all. There's no confusion. And that's what we see when we sit before a person and they describe this. They say, what I really want to do is this, but this is what I should do. And it's like, there's no doubt there. You've been very clear about what you really want to do. But it gets framed oftentimes as confusion. I don't know what I want to do, even though they just said 10 times what they want to do. The person said 10 times very clearly what they want to do. But then they say, oh, but I'm confused. So I offer to you, we don't need to be confused when infinite intelligence and infinite wisdom are our very nature and are at our very center. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook said, we are guided daily by divine intelligence into paths of peace wherein the soul recognizes its source and meets it in joyful union in complete at-one-ment. Daily guided by divine intelligence. I was watching a little bit of Les Brown. I don't know how many of you know Les Brown. He's like 75 now, but he doesn't look 75 though. He looks still very youthful, and he still has that childlike energy, and he talks about that, how he likes to keep that child in him alive. And he was one of the original motivational speakers before that was even a phrase. He was one of like the original motivational speakers, and his story is so powerful because of where he comes from and how he just persevered. And I was in the presence of him a couple times. He came to the community I was in Oakland, California a few times. We had kind of a relationship with him for a while there where he would come back and forth. And in a small group with us, he talked about, people say they want to do what I do. They want to be up on that stage like me, and they want to give these great motivational talks. But he said, they don't realize all the times that I spoke to the really small group of people, and all these times that I had people get up and walk out on my talks, and all these other things that I went through to get to where I am. And he talks about not putting things in our consciousness that we don't want to put into our consciousness, that we don't want to experience. For example, he said, I don't go to a scary movie. I don't go to certain types of movies that are going to put certain things in my consciousness that are going to be impediments to my moving forward. He talked about, I don't hang around with people who are going to be doubters and put things into my consciousness that are going to not be productive for me. There's something about the company that we keep. And then there's our own mental models. Our own mental models of that are things we've made up, basically. They're not reality with a capital R. They're things that we've made up about life, things we've made up about ourselves, things we've made up about the world and situations. I was thinking as I prepared this talk about, one of my things that ran me for quite a long time was this idea that I had to do something great. In order for me to be okay, I had to do something great, like really great. But what I realized is I was continuously doing great things, and I would do another great thing and another great thing. But by the time I did the great thing, it no longer felt great. It felt very ordinary because all the steps and everything leading up to it, now I was at a whole different place. If I were to look back at it from the self that I was when I decided, wow, that would be great, then it was really great. So I had to let go of that idea. And the truth is that I'm constantly doing great things. So are you. You're constantly doing great things. So I had to let go of that idea that there's going to be this big splash. There's going to be this big, great thing. Because what I know is, even if I did something where everyone in the world knew about it, it made me world known on the path that I was on. By the time I got there and did that, it would be like, oh, that thing, that's nothing. I need to do something even bigger than that. So it's a very limiting idea. It's a setup for disappointment. It's a setup for unhappiness. That I have to do something more than what I'm doing now, instead of recognizing what I'm doing right now is amazing. What you are doing right now is amazing. The difference you are making to people in your life is amazing. The ways that you are contributing your gifts is amazing. And if you're feeling that there's much more that you could be giving and much more of your gifts that could be shared, then great. Great. Say yes to that. That's the Spirit in you. That's what's moving in you to say there's more for you to do. There's more for you to be, and say yes to that and follow that. But always from this place that I am whole, perfect, and complete right now. But that infinite intelligence in us is ever active. That creative energy in us is ever active, ever leading us forward, making the path clear to what's next and what's next. As long as we still have life in this body, and then even beyond that, actually, this creative energy will always be moving in us to bring forth something new. I want to end with this last quote here from, we're doing this class based on the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And this is my second most favorite quote, actually, from the book. And it says, if anything can cause disturbance inside of you, it means it hit your model. Meaning it hit your mental model. It bumped up against your mental model. Like that you think life ought to be this way, or you think you ought to be a particular way, or you think people ought to be a particular way. And the disturbance inside of us when we get riled up, when we get have our peace disturbed, our sense of well-being disturbed, is that something didn't conform to our model. But of course, we made up the model. We made up the model. So we get to let go of these mental models, these mental constructs, these things that we've told ourselves, these things that we've made up that block our way, that get in the way of the path being clear, cause more confusion. So the invitation today is to remember each moment that infinite intelligence, that infinite wisdom that is right at your center, that is always guiding you, and let go of any idea that you could ever be confused. Let go of any idea that you could ever not know what to do. Let go of any idea that you could ever be in a place where the path isn't clear before you. And then remember that all I need do is get still for a moment, listen in, and trust and follow the guidance that comes forth. God bless you. And so let us just turn within for prayer for a moment here. And so I recognize in this moment that one divine spirit, that one infinite intelligence, that one power and presence that is the very life of God itself. It is just one life, expressing in, through, and as all that is whole, perfect, and complete, and all of life partaking of that divine nature of that one life. For my very life and being is a divine expression of that one. And each one listening, watching this service is also a divine expression of that one. And every person in our lives is also a unique divine expression of that one, each one whole, perfect, complete in every way. And so in this consciousness of oneness, I lift up that truth of infinite intelligence, that truth of infinite wisdom that is ever present at our center. And I declare a no right now for anyone who has felt like they've been in confusion, who has felt like they don't know how to go forward, who has felt like they don't know what's theirs to do. I speak my word right now and know that that infinite intelligence, that infinite wisdom is making itself so known at the center of each one's being. And the way is made clear. The path is made clear. The answers are forthcoming. They're embedded right in the question as we give our conscious, centered, grounded attention and bring our conscious, centered awareness to each situation. And so I know right now that clarity is fully present. We know who we are. We know what is ours to do and be. And our questions are being answered right now. The way forward is so clear. And we step into it with confidence, with trust, with faith, with knowing. And so I am just so grateful for this truth. So grateful for my awareness, and so grateful for all the amazing ways that it is manifesting in each one's life right now. And so in gratitude, in deep, deep gratitude, I release this word to that immutable law, that creative medium of life that only knows to say yes, that receives the impress of my word and immediately begins to act upon it. And therefore, I know it is done just as I have declared, touching and agreeing with each other person listening. I let it be. And we join together in grounding it with the words, and so it is. I turn it over to Kristen and Merritt. Yes.
Because now that we know the way forward, we can live our life like it's golden. And that's where we're headed. Hey, oh, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm taking my freedom, pulling it off the shelf, putting it on my chain, wearing it round my neck, yeah. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my car, wherever I choose to go. It will take me far. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden, golden. I'm taking my own freedom, putting it in my song, singing it loud and strong, grooving all day long. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my stroll. I'll be high-stepping, y'all, letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's 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 golden, golden. I'm holding on to my freedom, can't take it from me. I was born into it, it comes naturally. I'm taking my own freedom, playing the God in me, representing His glory golden, golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden, 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 golden. Living my life like it's golden, 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 golden. Living my life like it's golden, 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 golden. Living my life like it's golden, 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 golden.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Living my life like it's golden. Yes, I love it. Beautiful and very well done. Thank you so much for that. Well, we've reached our offertory time, and here we are. Yes, we're here in our offertory time, and thank you so much for all the ways that you continue to give financially to the center. That's why we're able to keep going here. Thank you so much for that. We still need your gifts because everything is still running like normal, except that we don't have the people here, and things are starting to unfold with that too. So stay tuned for future plans for how we come back together. It's kind of the dates are starting to move up around that, and so we'll see just how soon. The governor most recently said that churches meeting in person is weeks away. So we'll be meeting with the board and figuring out how to do that and how to do it safely, and you'll hear more on that. So in our offertory time here, I invite you to take your gift in your hand if that feels comfortable for you, or in your heart. Just hold your gift in your heart and know that your gift blesses all of us. And so let me give you a few ways to give. I think some of them are up on your screen as well. You can send a check made out to Center for Spiritual Living to P.O. Box 617, area code 93302, Bakersfield, California. Or you can go to our website, centerforspirituallivingbakersfield.com, and hit the donate button there as well. So let us read together our offertory statement, which should also be on your screen. And that statement goes like this: divine love blesses this gift. It is circulated with love, and it is returned to me, pressed down and overflowing. I am a happy giver and a grateful receiver. Our center is blessed, and so it is.